It's a little bit of story time right now. So back in the day when I was playing this game called Guild Wars, a guild like like a player guild. There was this guild I was in, and this is just complete memory lane. It was called Wanta Fanta, and the acronym was WTF. And the whole stipulation about the guild was that you had to be a girl in real life, but like nobody followed that rule, obviously, because I'm talking about it now. And in the guild hall, like the assembly, the meeting area, you could only have a female character. And this is when like the game was first coming out, right? And I met someone there. Her screen name at the time was Dirty Girl EXT. I believe the EXT stood for extreme. And there were a lot of people in that guild who turned out to not be female. It was just a bunch of dudes playing together, but there were like legitimately like maybe like 3 or 4 females who were female in real life. Unlike the other dudes that there were a couple people that everyone thought was female, including myself, but they weren't. I guess I was very convincing because everyone thought I was female in real life, IRL. So we had a really good time back in that guild. It was a less stressful life. It was we were all like college kids. We were all 20 something later on. I think I don't remember when I started playing. I don't know. I was like 18, I think. And I got pretty close to one person there who would eventually be my first, arguably my first girlfriend. And it was our paths didn't really cross until I joined a different guild later on, because I guess like some of the stuff that fell apart with the guild was just people just weren't playing the game as much, and the game itself was in a pretty weird place, if I remember correctly, and we each moved on to different paths. And one day I stumbled upon this quote-unquote famous guild, at least at the time. I Google searched them now. I don't think it exists anymore. It's like all the forum posts are from like 2016 and stuff like that. It was called Zen of Onslaught, or XoO, as they call it, XoO. And I forgot how the events came about, but I ended up recontacting her screen name was Dirty Girl EXC, who I later found out her real name, and we started talking and stuff, and eventually we did meet in person, and it was the one and only time. It was for a decent amount of time. I think we were both on vacation or something. It was only like a week. It was memory lane. But as with all games, eventually the game became less popular, and I think a lot of us just grew apart. There were still some of the original people that, like me and her, I think that was about it. Now that I think about it, the other players from Wanta Fanta, like the soda, Fanta orange, Fanta grape. All those females in the commercials were female, so that's where the whole female thing came. I probably should have explained that earlier. But in Zen of Onslaught, we met some new people. It was nice, the whole sense of community and thing. And after Wanta Fanta fell apart, we were all just kind of, if this makes any sense, we all knew that we weren't going to get back what we had, and that what we had, even though it was special, it was never going to be the same. And that's not necessarily a problem. It was just that whatever this new thing was in this new guild, it could never be like that. Just like that could never been like this. And that it was sad. It's kind of bittersweet that way. Because we were, my girlfriend and I at the time, we were moving on, and but the constant that remained together was the two of us. And this sounds like such a nerd like story, but it was special. And as some of you may know, as I explained on this channel, why things ended the way they ended, it was very depressing the way things ended, and I just had to learn to move on from it. Whether she moved on from it or not, I'm pretty sure she did. We tried reconnecting, but due to the way things did end and what I found out, it just wasn't the same, and it just made me feel like I was living a fantasy, you know? Like my image of what we had was skewed. I couldn't look at it objectively. And when I did, that's when I realized it was so special, but it wasn't as special as I thought it was. And that was a really difficult thing for me to get over. But at the same time, I knew, like, it wasn't just IRL. It was RL. It was real life. And sometimes in real life, things don't end up the way you want them to. But I still have fond memories of back in Wanta Fanta. We were like such a close-knit community, and at its peak, we were doing guild versus guild stuff, like player versus player stuff. We were mostly doing PvE stuff, player versus enemy, and we just weren't good enough. And like the people who weren't good enough at PvP, we became better at PvE, player versus enemy. And some of us just like that more. That was just more enjoyable to us than talking to these random teenagers, like playing this game, like, you know, mouthing off and shit. And I was just like, you know, like, do we really want to be a part of this? That's what it came down to. And a lot of people's answers was no. It's not fun anymore. Like, we just want to play together and bullshit. Like, we don't want to be ranked. We don't want to, you know, head to the Guild Wars tournament finals. But yeah, I remember in Wanta Fanta there were a couple people, right, who I was pretty close to one of them, and this is someone other than my first girlfriend at the time. It was this person, and we played a lot. Like, he was online a lot, I was online a lot. Notice I said he, because for the longest time, the two of each other, we thought we had to be female. And like, it was like, I'm not sure if he felt bad, but like, I felt bad because, like, you know, that there wasn't something we really talked about in the guild. Was like some people knew who was who and whatnot, but for the most part, nobody knew. And we kept it that way until times changed, and I think we shared photos one day, and like a lot of people were surprised by a lot of these photos. Like, some of the females in some of these photos were very attractive, and it was just it was a long time ago, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was very nice while it lasted, and whether that be in WTF or XoO, Wanta Fanta or XoO, as I said, I Google searched XoO, and I found a couple of dead websites, dead links, and as far as I know, the group, the gaming group, the guilds upon guilds, they no longer exist, and I thought maybe they moved on to Guild Wars 2. I never played Guild Wars 2. I'm not sure if anyone else got into it that I know. It wasn't until I honestly started PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. That was until I started gaming again, and like the little interim time between Guild Wars and PlayStation, I wasn't really doing much of anything. I think I was getting into gambling, so that occupied a lot of my time and money. But like if I stuck it out to the end, sometimes I wonder whether things would have stopped the way they stopped, whether someone would have taken up the reins and continued the spirit of the games, etc. But it never happened, as far as I know. And I miss it. I do. I think it's great that I could look back on it fondly. It was just really bad that it had to end. At least from my point of view, it ended. I forget why it stopped. I think just people just stopped logging in, and I think when my ex at the time, when we parted ways, I can't speak on her behalf, but it kind of wasn't the same. It was actually kind of painful to bump into each other again online sometimes, and I started trying out dating in real life more. I wasn't using at the time dating websites and apps like Match.com. Not sure if you guys remember Match, but I wasn't using that as much. But I did venture into it. It was nice while it lasted. Again, I feel like I'm saying that a lot. But that's the story. I can mention some names besides hers, but what's the point? She was the main reason I was continuing that game, Guild Wars, and it was just too hard to continue that without her, and I just, for lack of a better term, I just like retreated. I don't want to say I just disappeared, but I just retreated into my own little world, and I just at that point, it wasn't that I was sick of the game. It was just it was the chapter in my life that I decided I had to close. And do I regret it? Some parts I regret. Not properly saying goodbye, I do regret. I think that's how some of these things go. Sometimes you stop logging in every day. You only log in like once a week. Once a week becomes a month, and then next thing you know, you only keep in touch with the people that you want to, and the people that you don't, you're left to wonder how they're doing, if you should try to reach out again. But the one undeniable thing is that things can never be the same after that, and that's unfortunate. But that's just the way online gaming goes sometimes. And like with Diablo 4, for example, because I play on a PlayStation, it shows my PlayStation screen name as well as my character name. It's nice that on PlayStation you could connect to other games, whereas like Diablo 4 on PC, you're pretty much pigeonholed into Steam. You don't even have to use Steam, I don't believe, but it's just not the same like having your PlayStation account. You know what I mean? In my case, my trophies and whatever games I play for fun, because those don't always coincide. Earning trophies, having trophies, and playing whatever game at the same time. Because eventually you're gonna 100% the game, and after that, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because you're like, do I keep playing this game? Do I move on to something else? And it's very nostalgic, and I miss it. Just the camaraderie of it. But it wasn't just because it was a guild that was active. It was the people, whose names I remember fondly. I haven't forgotten any of them. And then, her, of course. I just wish things didn't end the way they ended between me and her. It wasn't even so much the guild, it was just her. And I guess that's how you can tell if you really know someone or not. Because when you find out who they really are, sometimes you're disappointed. And that's sort of what happened to me. So that's sort of why I don't really, as of right now, I don't really mess with guilds anymore. It's just whoever I play with online, I play with. But I don't I haven't actively looked for any guilds. On Diablo 4, where everything is fucking random, I've been invited to a couple guilds because they probably saw my tag and saw I wasn't part of a guild. But I declined most of them. It's just, actually, to be honest, I declined all of them. I don't know why I said most of them, but all of them, it just didn't strike my fancy. It didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen. And I wish I could explain that better, but sometimes when people grow apart, when they grow older, you just don't look at things the same. And like, I'm not gonna lie, it's partly a afraid of being hurt again kind of thing. Not by the fucking guild, you know what I'm talking about. But like, is that a factor? Of course, because like, you get used to hang out with these people. You play until the fucking AM playing this fucking game, and you look back on it fondly, but all good things must come to an end. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll find that guild out there, the last generations of games. But I don't know. I don't know what she's up to. I think she still has my contact info, but I think she gave up on that a long time ago. It wasn't so much that I wasn't willing to wait for her. It was that I don't think I wanted to anymore. And that was 100% because I found out some things I didn't need to find out. But did I need to find them out to move on? Yeah. But like, you see people's true colors, and I just didn't like the ones that I saw. And that ended eventually. It wasn't because of that, but Wanta Fanta ended. Like the soda again. I can't reiterate that enough. But XoO ended the way it's ended, and I think I was the one that cut off ties, I believe. It was just, part of it was I was just too painful to play with this person that you were involved with. And thankfully it never happened, but like, what if she met someone else in the guild and it's just kind of awkward, you know, like if they were talking to each other and you happen to be in the same group. I didn't want to deal with that, and I'll admit it, I probably wasn't adult enough to deal with it. And it was just the way it was, the way things ended, the way it turned out. But we had some good times though. It was definitely something I'll never forget. Both Wanta, Fanta, and XoO. I hope everyone's doing okay though. I don't know where they're at right now in their lives. I know one person I think I'm Facebook friends with. He has a family now, and the last time I checked, he stopped gaming. Well, he stopped playing gaming seriously, and with her, I don't know what happened to her. I know she reached out to me a couple times, but like I said, of course I didn't ignore her, but I didn't let old times resurface. I didn't let things play out the way they played out before, because I knew I had to move on, and it sort of felt like I was living in fantasy, you know, like what the image I thought was there wasn't real. It was a persona. It was an identity that this person had online, and I had my own identity online. And the reality is we were just not in good places in our lives. Arguably I'm still not, but I think about her and the whole experience a lot. Just the way it is. So that's XEN of Onslaught. Zen of Onslaught, that's what it was. If anyone out there happens to be a part of the guild, let me know. If it still exists, I'll play Diablo 4 with Zen. I don't mind. Zen of Onslaught. I mean, I'll play Diablo 4 with XoO. I have no problems with that. But as far as I know, we don't. They don't exist anymore. We don't exist anymore. I heard rumors that some people either did or maybe even still be playing Guild Wars 2. As far as I know, there's no plans for Guild Wars 3. I think a big thing for me was that my computer was just getting older and older, and it was becoming more and more difficult to run Guild Wars. And I was just like, I can't keep upgrading a computer. I couldn't afford to get a new gaming computer every couple of years. So it was just like, let me try a console. Let me try a PlayStation, and that's why we're here now. I don't know. Sometimes I think like, what if she's watching this right now? What if someone from XoO is watching this right now? And anyway, that's enough. That's enough of that. I don't think I talked about this as much in detail before, but if I did, here it is again. I miss it. I miss how simple times were back then. I miss how carefree the majority of things were back then. We were just a bunch of college kids, maybe younger than that. It was it's now I realize this about guilds. It's not as much about the game. Of course the game matters, but it's who you're playing with, who you're confiding in, who you favor over other people because you feel closer to them. Like you only like discuss certain things with certain people because, you know, you shouldn't feel obligated to divulge your personal life to someone just because they're in your guild. your alliance, whatever you want to call it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's very similar to how it is in real life. We're playing Magic the Gathering cards like in person, it'd be the exact same thing. Would it be different because we are in physical proximity to each other, of course. But you don't necessarily need that. That's all I'm trying to say. And this video has gone on long enough. This was Wanta Fanta to XoO. This is what this video was about. Alright guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other.